Hey everybody, it's Jason with Parallel Reality back with you here today to go over another article from RedState dated April 8th. And I figured this is something I wanted to talk about because I saw that this was happening and I was just like, you gotta be kidding me. So, preacher Kamala Harris shows up in Nashville to deliver a grotesque political spectacle. Now, if you're saying, well, wow, she showed up in Nashville to comfort the families of the victims in that horrific shooting, well, you'd be 100% wrong because she's showing up to stand in solidarity with the murderer. So this is what our vice president does now. So let's go through the article. It says Kamala Harris is truly the most tone-deaf and capable politician of the modern era. I have no argument with that. So she's so terrible that she makes Hillary Clinton seem personable and compelling. Nice. It says the reality was on full display. Whoops, went a little too far there. The reality was on full display on Friday as Harris jetted off to Nashville to visit the Tennessee Three and to stump for gun control. And those are the three politicians that I mentioned in my previous video had been expelled from the Congress for leading an insurrection. Or I'm sorry, they were the ones that led it. Two of them were expelled. I apologize. Says that decision came after the Biden administration originally all but ignored the tragic mass shooting by a transgender militant that set off the current change of events. To this day, no one with the administration has even mentioned that the murderer previously targeted Christians in an obvious hate crime. Yes, it was. From what we noticed, the hate crime, it's a hate crime if you're basically going, I am going to hurt those people there specifically because they are that thing. And that's what this person did. So yes, this is pretty much the exact definition of a hate crime. So, to that effect, it was also obvious that Harris had no intention of visiting Nashville until it became politically convenient to do so. While administration officials, including Joe Biden himself, had previously gone to the sites of the school shootings in the past, this one was largely ignored and obfuscated. Yet, the moment three Democrats perpetrated an insurrection at the Tennessee Capitol, Harris decided it was time to put boots to the ground. Okay, so the exact wrong time to show up there, okay? So there wasn't even any question about what the vice president's priorities were in making the trip. Her own staff bragged about them, so this must be someone from her staff. I don't know. Says the vice president is wheels down in Nashville, headed to meet with state legislators. And Kamala said, today I stood with parents, students, and the Tennessee Three, which are these three right here on the right. Says they won't be silenced and their demands for gun reform must be heard. You can shut up about that. In Congress and in state legislatures around our nation, leaders must have the courage to act. Okay. It says, imagine being one of the parents who lost a child to the Nashville shooting, having been ignored for nearly 2 weeks, only to have the vice president show up to proclaim solidarity with spoiled, fame-seeking legislators that used the mob to shut down the legislature. So, yeah, she showed up for that. Yeah, and also, like, yeah, I can't. This is like the same thing with Biden and not doing anything about the East Palatine train derailment. He hasn't gone there or done anything. He decided to fly off to Ukraine instead. So, yeah, the priorities are just of this administration are beyond mind-bogglingly stupid. The 3 dead children and 6 deaths total weren't enough to move Harris, but meeting with insurrectionists was. So I can't say for sure whether the vice president met with any of the families after finally making it to Nashville, but if she did, no one is talking about it. That would seem unlikely given how much the administration has bragged about such interactions in the past. What Harris definitely did, though, was pull out her preacher voice to shout about the real victims. And then this says, Kamala in Tennessee yelling, you don't silence people, you don't stifle people. If only they would practice what they preach. Yes, of course, this is the iron law of woke projection. All the other people are doing the thing that I myself am doing right now. Okay, whatever, Kamala. So it would be great if she had that same energy about conservatives who were in our silence for years. Yep, hypocrisy is a Democrat's middle name. Correct. So she's about as likable as a swift kick in the face, and the above clip is illustrative of that. She has the audacity to go to what I assume is a church, given the organ in the background. Let me check that. Yeah, that kind of looks like a church. To scream and gyrate about silencing people while standing on the bodies of dead children to do so. Dead children, I might add, that she didn't show any care for at all until some Democrats were expelled from the legislature in the same city. Right. That's about right. I sometimes hesitate to use the word in regard to politics because it can be overwrought, but that seems objectively evil to me. Yeah, it is. I mean, and I misspoke at the beginning of the video when I said she went there to show solidarity with the community of the shooter. So my mistake there. Hopefully you've made it this far into the video to hear I did make the mistake. But yeah, she went to Nashville for completely different reasons than there's a mass shooting and she went to that city to do something else. I mean, if these Tennessee Three, if that's what they're really going to be called, if they hadn't done anything at all, would she have gone to Nashville? at all? I'm guessing probably not. And I would also probably hasten to guess that nobody from the administration has called those families to offer their condolences to them. Instead, they're you know they're showing up to show solidarity with the wrong side, if you will. So keep going with this. Said this is a person who plugged Trans Day of Visibility in the same week a transgender militant murdered children for political reasons. Harris has refused to describe the act as a hate crime despite it clearly being one. That's correct. Instead, she and the administration decided that the trans community was under attack when it was a trans person who committed the mass shooting in question. Yeah, I don't get that. If it was a Christian that murdered a bunch of trans people, would people have been saying, oh, well, the Christian community is under attack by trans people? You'd have been like, no, that's obviously not correct given what happened here. Like, if a person whose skin color was green shot up a place of people whose skin color was purple, would you be sitting there and saying, the green skinned people are under attack? You'd be like, no, they're literally not. And I think you can go look up any statistics anywhere and say, like, Christians are the most persecuted people on the planet right now. So yeah, it's definitely Christians that are under attack. It is not trans people. And again, I said this in a previous video, but the supposed genocide, and I use bunny ears around that word to say that trans people are being destroyed in that way, if you will, was exactly 2 last year. So unless your entire population is like 2 or maybe 3 or 4, then that's hardly a genocide. Okay, so that's not what that word means. Anyway, it says one can only come to one conclusion. These people do not care about you. That's correct. They only care about what is politically expedient for themselves. Again, correct. Even still, it's shocking to see how far they've pushed the envelope on that front, literally ignoring the targeted killing of children, or instead prioritize sympathy for insurrectionists. It's an unconscionable, grotesque spectacle. So, yeah, let's just say that on a certain day in January from a few years ago, that, let's just say people actually died, like that were murdered by the protesters, we'll say, okay, because people did die during it, but not by the protesters. And if you don't believe me, well, you need to go read more. So let's just say that those protesters had killed a bunch of people, okay? And then President Trump came out and said, like, he basically went to the people who murdered a whole bunch of people. I was like, yeah, these guys are the people that I'm going to show solidarity with, instead of like the families of the people who were murdered. People would be on that shit like nobody's business, and he would have been excoriated, and rightfully so for that. Make a mob justice situation happen to get their way, even though like a week beforehand someone murdered a bunch of kids, and her response is to go to this place and go, I'm going to stand with these people and not even mention the tragedy from a week ago. She's a moron. Yeah, I don't even know what else to say. I have no nice words to say about her, but she's a stupid person. Whoever's leading her team, I mean, guys, like, they need to lose their jobs, because she's not getting advice from the best people. She's getting advice from very bad, stupid people. So if you really want to make her work, get people, like, she's probably not going to work anyway because she's kind of vapid, but at least get people there that could say, hey, maybe going to see the shootings of the victims from the shooting is where your priority should be. And if she comes out and is like, no, I'm going to go do this instead, then okay, it's her, that's the problem. But maybe get better staff members. I don't know. I guess I'm done with this. I don't know what else to say besides this. I'm like blanking out because I'm just losing brain cells talking about her and how stupid this decision is. Anyway, please comment below, like, share, subscribe. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.